Alright, here we go. Basic car lowering in Photoshop. Really not a lot to it. Pretty basic. First things first, unlock the background. Do that by double clicking on it. Then you need to look at the picture, see what you want to stay at the height that it's at and what you want to lower. In this case, we want to lower everything that is the car and leave the wheels at the regular height. So first we're going to go over here. You see this little box type thing. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but click on it. You'll see over here it changes a little bit. You're going to come over to brush tool. You're going to mask off what is going to stay at its current position. So on this, I'm going to go up to this line in the wall. I'm going to leave the car intact. But I'm going to obviously edit out the wheels because they need to stay put. Right now, you're just going over getting the basics. You can always go back. Oops. You can always go back and get up close in the detail areas to make sure it's perfect. Right now, you're just trying to rough it out, get the basic idea of what's staying, what's going, dealt with. Makes things a lot easier. As you can see, where the car, what is actually the car and what is the background, I'm separating. The problem I have with this picture is the car is black, so tires tend to blend in with the bodywork. Unless they're just the right angle. Okay. As you can see, you look in the background, you will see a basic line where the background separates from what is the ground and what is in the background. You'll see it here, and then you'll see it over here. Oops, kind of screwed that up. Oh well. Point is, if you leave those points where they're at, when you drop the car, you don't really have to change the background too much. You don't have to repair the background. It makes things a lot easier that way. Because the background follows the car down, and then all you gotta do is crop it. When you're doing this, especially in the wheel wells, you'll see that I'm copying, or I'm masking off, because that's what you're doing here, is you're masking off. I'm masking off the inner part of the wheel wells as well. That way, as you lower the car down, the wheel wells will essentially become empty and the background will stay put as the car drops. making it so that it's sitting on top and you don't have to repair the background behind the wheels and stuff. It makes things a little easier. You want to get it in as close to what you're trying to do as possible, because it makes for a much cleaner final product. Looking down here, you can see the other tire behind here, but you want to leave the suspension component that you see. So you'll find that changing your brush sizes is also your friend. Sometimes a bigger brush is your friend, sometimes a smaller one is better, so you need to basically constantly be changing your brush size. It's not like you can pick one universal brush size and just go with it. Sometimes zooming in will also help you get the finer details. In this case, getting up close to the muffler, as you can see, it's pretty pixelated now. Since you're working with pixels, essentially, it makes it a little easier to do, because you're focused in on the individual pixels you're trying to edit. Zooming in, as you can see spots down here that I missed with when I zoomed out. So you come in with the brush, touch up, brush, touch it up. Parts of the wheel too. Didn't quite cover. Also remember, backstep is your friend. Control-Alt-Z is one of the commands you will use the most. Alright, now that we've got it masked off, I'm going to come over here, undo this again, and then you see the area that you have selected. You're going to want to pick the rectangle monarchy, Then you're gonna go layer via cut. And you'll see it splits it into 2 layers. Layer 0 is the one you start off with, and layer 1 will be what is separated. As you can see, that is the top half of the image. Since it's on top of layer 0, it will always be in front. So now you come over here to the arrow, and then just start going away. So you get to the desired ride height. It's right about there, if you look, is about the limits of where that exhaust will let you go. You can drop it all the way down here, but as you can see, the body won't work because you can tell that that's not where it's supposed to be sitting. If you look closely at the front wheel well, you'll notice that part of the tire is being covered by the background. We'll fix that in a second. Right about there is about as low as you can drop this thing. Now, one thing I have found to work, come over here, now, pop it over. See, now I put that, now I put the layer with the wheels on top for purposes of taking the eraser tool, go back to layer 1. Now you're going to be erasing the layer behind the wheel. That way, when you switch the layers back, the tire is in front of that layer. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. We're going to come back and fixing that in a little bit. As you can see, there's spots here where it's not quite right. There's spots all back here where it's not quite right. Pick through layer for the extra crap. Stuff that we didn't quite get when we were trimming it up. Just erase the stuff you don't want. See, it's starting to clean up. Not quite there yet, but it's starting to. Look at the wheel well, you can see where the flare actually starts and where we forgot some of the wheel well stuff. So trim that away. And just trying to make it look as clean as possible.